Hello, Gemini. Thank you for tuning into your love read. Excuse me. For the main part of the read, using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Okay. Already shuffled. We're going to do relationship first, single second. Well, how come I'm all like fidgety all of a sudden? What's that about? Okay. There's a defensive energy on your partner's side, but I almost feel like it's defensive in the sense of like they're just like, I feel like they're kind of ignoring you. I really do feel like they're ignoring you. What's the deal? I'm feeling like they're ignoring you. I've got this Eight of Cups, like this. I don't think this is right. Like, this is weird. In the sense of, like, I don't think they should be doing this. The relationship feels like it's a good relationship. But either they're flat out ignoring you, or they're like, they might, I feel like a lot of them, what they're doing is, like, they're staying busy with a lot of different things, just so they don't have to talk to you. And I'm getting, like, the extremes with the Page of Swords, which is telling me, like, swords are usually communication or thought, and I feel like this is the restriction. You got extremes next to it, like the restriction of communication. Like, it's almost like they're not around. You text them, they don't respond to texts. Like, if you're leaving them messages other ways, they're not responding, they're ignoring them. And they're spiritually, they got the Four of Pentacles here. Like, they're very stubborn about this. It feels very stubborn, feels like they're ignoring you, feels like it's very over the top, doesn't feel like it's good, feels like it's not the right thing to be doing. And I see you not pushing your partner. You've got the Four of Cups and the Temperance card. Kind of like, alright, that's how it is right now. They'll come back towards me when they're ready. Like, whatever the actual issue is, you seem to realize that they need some time to just kind of like relax or whatever with it. And you're kind of like, you don't like this, you don't think this is right, they're ignoring you, that's not okay. But you're partly like, you know what, if I really try to push, if I really put a lot of pressure on this, it's just going to blow up into a fight. I don't know if I really want that either. You're not happy with it, but you're trying to deal with it. And you're just kind of like, well, I'll give it some time, let's see what happens here. There's a weird aggravation energy between the two of you. But I'm also seeing the Nine of Wands, which is one of the reasons you're not really pushing the issue. Kind of like, if I wait and I give my partner time to, like, get over it, whatever that means, this has more of a chance of going the direction that I want it to go. So you're kind of holding the line for that reason. That's how that feels. I don't like this energy, how this feels, because it's weird. It just feels like they're ignoring you, and I'm just like, the way they're ignoring you, it just feels like, it reminds me of a child that's just kind of stamping their feet and just not going to do it. That's kind of how this feels. It's strange to me. Now, you've got is it the Four of Swords? Yep, Four of Swords with the Discernment. These are your challenge cards. I feel like you need to look a little deeper and like, what is the actual problem, and why is your partner doing this? Like, I don't feel like this is okay. I feel like you're gonna have to. I don't feel like this really bothers me for some reason. Like, this non-communication, that's really not right. That feels like it's pushing it really a little far. That's not right. And when they're getting the discernment with the Four of Swords, it's kind of like, instead of accepting the situation for what it is and not being happy with it, and just kind of like, if I just let it be, I'm more likely to get my way, or hopefully. I feel like they're saying you should stand your ground with what you want, but you need to kind of like, I feel like you need to corner your partner a little bit and make them talk to you. that's your challenge card, to corner them and make them kind of talk to you. This isn't right. I feel like this isn't right. This makes me feel really uncomfortable, like this is a power play, and this is not right. This does not feel right to me at all. It feels like it's pushing on abusive is where it feels to me. I don't like it. It feels like it's manipulative. It seems to be beleaguering somebody. I don't like it. Their challenge card is the Three of Pentacles, which has a really negative feel to it. This is their like they're trying to railroad this in a different direction, and by basically not communicating with you, they are taking the liberty of making decisions without you. Is what I'm feeling. Take this with a grain of salt. That seems like, because there's a very negative feel here. I don't like this. It's bothering me that this is going in a bad way. But if you force them to talk with you, you can like take care of this. You can stop this from happening. This isn't right. This really makes me feel like this isn't right. This really doesn't feel right to me at all. The energy does not feel good. I don't like what's happening here. I don't like how the communication is being stopped. And I feel like, I literally feel like they're making choices, and this isn't right. I don't feel like that's right. They're pushing it in their own direction. They're railroading it in a certain way, and I don't feel like this is right. Now, if this goes up, I feel like I feel like you need to get them to talk. That you have to, I feel like you got to corner them, and they have to talk to you. This isn't right. There's some good cards on their side, but I feel like what we're going into next is like, if it goes the way as it looks like it's going to, whatever choices they're making, like they have Empress in the what do you call it, the Four of Wands. So I feel like they're going to play it off, or no, I mean they do think it's for the best for both of you. But the thing is, like the challenge card is the Three of Pentacles. What's making things better is the Four of Wands. It's like the plans that they're doing, like this is going to have to change. At some point, this is going to have to, that railroad mentality is not going to make it. When I feel the Empress, that's a very positive card. And I feel like this is, sooner or later, they're going to have to like stop whatever they're doing. And I'm more worried about the railroad mentality causing problems that you're both going to have to fix. Because whatever they're trying to force it to do, I just feel like it's going to be a lot of either wasted effort or possibly wasted money. It's not right. Because what makes things better for you is like you're gonna have to put a stop to it. You're gonna have to be like, no. Even if it's after the fact, if, for example, they go around you for whatever reason, and maybe it's about a car, and they're like, this is the type of car I want, and they just go ahead and they make it happen. And they get the car. What makes things better is the death card on your side kind of like, no, we're not keeping that car. You're taking it back. And I feel like this is where this is headed one way or another. The sooner you get involved, the less dramatic this has to be. The longer you let it go, the more dramatic it's going to be. Because whatever they're doing, like I feel like you're trying to railroad something. And I feel like if we're doing the car analogy, they're just ignoring you and trying to work around you instead of trying to find out what you both want. They're just making the decisions. They're like, I want this race car, just to be dramatic. So they get it. And they're like, well, I have it now. And you're like, well, you're going to take it back too, because that's not going to happen. And that's how that goes. That is literally, I feel like that may be literally how that goes. I feel like it's one of those things where like, I don't know what you're thinking, but we literally can't afford that. You need to take that back. There's no choice. I don't know how you even got it. Take it back. And when I see this happening, it's like, if you go into it sooner, if you make them talk to you sooner, it doesn't get that far. Because I feel like, for example, if we're going to use that, like, the car thing, they have to get out of it, but they're still going to have monetary repercussions for doing that. And not for nothing. If they have monetary repercussions, it kind of bleeds over to your whole situation. It's like a dent in the situation. It's not cool. It's not okay. Ironically, I know this is the Page of Pentacles, but I feel like it feels a lot to do with money. It really does. And I feel like the Page of Pentacles, when you have it on your side, you're kind of like, I know what you think you're doing, but this is what we actually have. And it's when I see her holding this up, kind of like, I know you think we're going to do that, but this is what we actually have. We can't do that. You need to take that back. And I feel like you need to stop this situation. You need to stop it. The Empress card does come forward, and the Four of Wands is what makes it better for them. They need to stop this closeout, this like shutdown, whatever this is. I feel they're not talking to you at all. When they stop that, then things go better. Then they can go forward and make the right decision, but you'll be working with them to make the correct decision. I feel like this whole reading is about they're moving forward on their own. They're ignoring you so they can move forward on their own. Whatever the issue is, whatever it is, they're moving forward on their own. Whatever they're doing, they're going to have to backtrack. If they make decisions on their own, I just feel like there's an error there. It's not even that hard for you to tell them no. You're just pointing out the obvious. Like, you literally can't do that. And you're just saying, you're going to have to take that car back. It's the best analogy I can give. Like, you're going to have to. And I do feel like there's some type of repercussion. The longer it goes, the more dramatic it is. That's why they're giving you the challenge cards. Like, don't just hold your ground and wait for this to go your way. Discern it. Like, get in there, find out what's going on, make them talk to you so you can shut this down before it becomes an issue. Soon it will work out one way or another in the long run. It's just, it can be easier on you and your partner, quite frankly, if this stops. And I feel like not only do you need to step in and say, listen, you're going to talk to me, I also feel like you need to make a point. Like, this is not okay. This is not acceptable. Shutting me out is not an option. Like, no, that's not right. This is wrong. I don't like this. This is not to happen again. I feel like that. Like, I want to be all like, no, listen, no, don't do that again, ever. Is there anything else with this? All right, I think the message is there. All right, good. Let's go into messages for single Gemini. What do we have for single Gemini? Messages for single Gemini. My first thought is like I'm getting a waiting feel. It's kind of like you kind of have the power to move forward or not, but you're still waiting on somebody. Let's see if that's really what comes out in the cards, but that's my first thought. Because I'm feeling this waiting. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, come on. One more. I don't know how. This could be good. I said that waiting feel. You've got the Hanged Man out here for one. You got the Five of Pentacles out here. You got the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is holding your ground, but that still could be holding your ground by waiting something out. Especially with the Hanged Man and the Five of Pentacles here. Kind of like, I'm waiting something out. Waiting for it to come around, but like, am I waiting for what? Like, seems to be nothing I can do. Do we have some more? I want this bottom card. The Masculine, which is the lunar god. It depends on the reading. I do feel it's kind of like questioning, does this fit? Can this happen? Are we just going through a cycle? Should I have faith in this? That's kind of what I'm feeling here. I'm kind of getting that in your thoughts. You also have the King of Pentacles in your thoughts, which kind of has that moon feel too with that pentacle. It just has that shape to it. I'm kind of having this fun feeling like this is a good person that you like. It's a good person, but like they're just not the quickest in the sense of like getting things going. And I feel like what's coming in is like you're starting to question like, is this like even if it does start, how far can it really go? It seems to be that thought, because I'm getting that the King of Pentacles with the lunar god, kind of like you need somebody that's a little stronger is what I'm thinking. Somebody who's a little bit more motivated, a little bit more activated, and you're questioning like, am I holding on for something that, first of all, is it ever going to come around, and second of all, if it does, how far can it really go? And that's the Five of Pentacles, excuse me. Where you're standing, like I feel like you're starting to question that. Like it's taking forever. You're trying to get this person to come towards you. You're trying to get them to show you some interest, taking forever. And again, you're like, even if it happens, is there enough here to actually make something with? What's really the reason like this is perpetuating on is the the 10 of Cups, which has got a 4 of Cup feel. This whole thing has a 4 of Cup feel. 4 of Cups is like liking most of the situation, but there's that one piece of contention that might sink the ship. And I'm getting that with the 10 of Cups in the environment. Like, this person is really good to you, really nice to you, a good person. And I don't feel like you're questioning that, but it's almost kind of like... I don't know if I want to go there with this. It's kind of like Gemini and Pisces matching. I don't know. I'm going to go there. I don't know why, but I'm going to. There's just not enough charge for, like, neither of them are taking the lead. Stereotypically, Pisces and Gemini are more support energy. They're not really take charge lead energy, not typically, stereotypically. And it depends, it doesn't mean like in everything in life, but like they tend to be like watching to see what the other person thinks and moving forward based on that. And it just doesn't click in very easily usually. Stereotypically, like there are exceptions, like you got your whole chart going on there, so. But that's kind of what I'm feeling here. Like there's good energy, but it's like forever and a day. And I'm getting in the past, there's been a lot of hope, a lot of positive back and forth communication. But nothing is coming of this. Like, it's just kind of like waiting for the cows to come home. It's just like, you know, by the time they come home, are they going to be too old to do anything with it anyway? You're like, they're supposed to. They say they will. They say they will. You're holding your ground with this one because you do have feelings for this one is what I'm getting. And you like it, but you're like, I feel like you're like, does this really fit? You like this one a lot, though. I feel like that's why we have the 9 of Wands. Like, you're holding your ground. You got the Shock card at the bottom here, which is the Tower card. There's a separation and there's a communication that's just like cutting the line here. What is going on? You get the Tower card. One of you is moving in a different direction is what I'm getting. It could literally be you. Moving in a different direction, like there's a separation of some sort. This reminds me of a reading I did for somebody recently. There's a separation. It really does remind me very much of a reading I did recently. The 6 of Swords with the King of Swords is telling me, like, there's communication, but there's separation. One of you is going in a different direction. So I almost feel like the other person maybe is starting to see other people, or maybe there's more of a distance. Maybe one of you changed jobs, something like that. But there's more distance now than there was. But there's still communication here with the King of Swords, which is telling me, even though there's something separating you more than there was. Could be a job change, could be literally moving. One of you could start seeing somebody or just kind of going on dates or something like that. But the communication is the same, which is kind of confusing in my opinion. Especially if the other person, or even you, is starting to, like, going on other dates, which I feel like if you're going on other dates, you're kind of like, well, I'm sitting here waiting forever. Why not give somebody else a shot? But when this happens, no matter who's doing that, even though the communication is staying the same, what's going on is the Hanged Man with assessing next. What I'm getting here is, like, the next phase is to realize nothing is happening here. Like, it's almost kind of like, maybe the cows went home, but not to your home. Nothing is coming forward. The Hanged Man is telling me this is just not coming forward. And it's assessing, like, why? Like, where did the cows go? Did somebody else take my cows? Like, where did they go? Where are the cows? Where'd they go? They're supposed to come home. It's been 3 weeks. So, where are they? Not for nothing. Did they get stuck somewhere? Did a wolf get them? Not for nothing. What happened? They just never seem to show up. It's taking a while because it's like there's a lot of lack here. Whoever this is, there's a lot of lack. And I see, like, once you start addressing it and realizing, you know, nothing is happening here. Like, literally nothing's happening here. You got the 8 of Pentacles kind of like, I feel like you're second guessing. Should I really let this go? What is really here? Is there something I need to do to make this change direction? Because you like this person. This seems to, it's like the cool down period is what I'm getting. Like you're really looking at what was here. I almost feel like you're looking at this kind of like, how do we get along? How do we really talk to each other? Who's really motivated to move things forward? Like you're evaluating the situation and looking at all the possibilities, but you got to add in the reality. Add in and that's the history. Like, there's all these possibilities of what they could do. But if you add in the history, what's the probability that they will move towards you, that they will say this, that they will want to move forward, that they'll take some type of action towards you? What's the realistic probability based on the history? And I feel like there's none. Like, they don't do it. They just don't, and they're not going to. And then you have to look at it, well, if I want this to go forward, I have to push forward. How do I do that? What should I do? Based on what we've already done so far, how likely is that it's going to work out in my favor? I feel like there's a lot here you have to go through. You have to mull it through. It's going to take you some time. But it's kind of like you go from those 8 down to the 2, and then you're like, all right, I can either, it's like I have half of my possibilities are just like, this is just not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere, and I'm just going to be waiting until I'm, a pile of dust, in a coffin. It's not going to happen. The other side is, maybe some luck of fate, maybe something will happen here. But when I feel like you finally get it down to these last 2, it's kind of like, if I keep on this path, I'm either waiting for luck to go my way or I'm just going to waste away. And you're realizing, like, I can't bank on luck. It's just not going to work. Sooner or later, you're going to make the decision that it's time to move on from this. You have the Queen of Wands. You actively, in a strong motion, you move away from this. I feel like this connection with this person, I'm not saying it's going to be negative after this, but it's like you're shutting it down. If you talked a lot or you were friendly with each other or maybe friends that saw each other every once in a while, you're shutting it down and you're just like, you're still cordial to this person, but you're not hanging out with them anymore. You're only dealing with them where you need to, and that's just how it is. It's like it's taking the long road there. But when you get to the Queen of Wands energy, you're actively choosing to move on from this because you're like, I think I've spent enough time on this. I actually want to find somebody I can be with, and this isn't going to work. This is just not going to work. I think it's also going to relapse back to the other, like, even if it does go forward, it's going to be more of the same. Just like, it's just, like, if I'm lucky, I'll get a baby step forward, and it'll stay there for 10 years. This is not going to work. I feel like that's what this whole reading is about. Like, it's not clicking in. The longer you wait, the longer you keep yourself from actually moving towards a relationship you actually can have. This literally feels like wasting time to me. Not to be harsh, but and I can understand it when you feel for somebody, but they're saying, you can already look at this and where it's been and where it currently is. They're like, this is just, it's wasting your time. You're not going to end up happy. The longer you spend in this, the more time you give to it, the more thought you give to it, just that much longer you're in this mess, the less you're not happy. I don't feel you happy in this, especially with the 5 of Pentacles. They're just like, shut it down. Shut it down. The sooner you get to yourself to shut it down and completely move away from it, the sooner you'll be happy. The sooner you can move towards somebody who actually will be in your life, actively wants to be in your life. All right, I think that's it. All right, well, thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.